Okay, we have our first October 2022 Metal Monday. How you doing, Brett?
What is this, like Metal Monday, like 40 for the year, 40 something? Like, it's got to be, there's 52 weeks in the year. Maybe like high 30s then or something.
We got to be around there. Sky, do you know what number we're at? 43. 43. 43 for the year. Our second year doing it. So we did it completely in 2020. I think we started in 2020, and then we did 21
How
completely.
crazy is that there's only, freaking 11 to 12 more Metal Mondays in the year?
It's crazy, and it's starting to feel like fall out there.
Yeah, it's got a little nip in the air.
We're ready for winter.
The t-shirt is gonna have to be like a hoodie sweatshirt here soon.
Next Metal Monday, you might be wearing a hoodie.
Exactly.
So last two Metal Mondays, thing has just been, we keep saying it, they've been bloody. It looks like Halloween's already here. But around Wednesday, it started to turn. We got it all back. We're back into that 340 range for copper.
This morning,
for copper at least. What brought it back? Why is it coming back? Is it people, a lot of times to me, a lot of overreactions happen, and then people calm the hell out.
Yeah.
And it comes back a little bit,
Well, I mean, it's been like, to me, it's been the big driver has been currency, right? Like the strength of the dollar against other currencies has just been,
because other currencies are going
20-something year high, right? So that plays a role in the domestic, pricing. So, like what you're seeing this morning is the dollar giving up some of that strength, and so the stocks are, at least the Dow and the Nasdaq are ripping this morning. Which the other thing that's kind of interesting with the dollar giving up some strength is you're seeing, your PGMs, silver and gold especially, platinum, palladium, everything is found some love. And I feel like if the tide turns and, if the Fed has a meeting and says, okay, maybe we're raising the rates too quickly and it's hurting the global economy. Because I was reading over the weekend, basically like you've got the Chinese, the Japanese, the euro, the yen, all these currencies that are all kind of tracking and the dollar, right? So if the dollar is just sitting there, we keep raising interest rates, the dollar keeps strengthening, well, that's hurting the global economies. And at some point, these leaders are like, well, screw it. Like, we're going to have to sell, like China just came out and said, we're going to have to sell X amount in order to combat the strength of the U.S. dollar so we don't hurt their own currency. Because they're going to sell dollar reserves, buy their own currency, in order to basically give strength to their currency. Because you think we're suffering from inflation, well, it's really hurting these other economies. So that in turn is what really pushes and pulls the commodities more than anything right now, in my opinion. That and maybe some production and some manufacturing weakness. But you saw the ISM. Basically, which like the manufacturing gauge came out this morning, off more than anticipated, which I think gets the traders a little more, the old bad news is good news scenario right now, where maybe this bad news is going to slow the Fed interest rate raises.
Got it.
So bad news becomes good news for the markets because they're like, okay, that's the indication that the Fed needs to slow rates down.
So they needed to pump the brakes, quit raising it.
Well, that's just what people are trading. Whether that actually happens or not, how committed they are. I mean,
when's the next scheduled
really
raise? Do you know when the next scheduled interest rate?
In November. Yeah, and I believe, but also like that's some stuff. A lot of that trading stuff is very much out of my wheelhouse, right? Like, I don't sit there and trade currencies. I don't trade. The only thing we trade on it is commodities that we physically hold.
Yep.
So we don't trade futures contracts here. It's not really our game. Like we're truly in the commodities business, but we're just trading on physical supply that we're actually able to purchase and sell. That's it.
But
we are affected.
Here in Idaho, we've always been kind of in our own bubble. just the way we are geographically here in Treasure Valley. All the manufacturers that I've been talking to, they're still really booming. Now that might turn. Sometimes it takes us a little while to catch up to the rest of the country, both ways. But everyone around that I've been talking to is so busy. They still are looking for employees. They can't keep up. So here, that's a good sign. But like you said, that manufacturing report, there's more
If
bad
we get
news.
a true recession,
Yeah.
recessions take much longer to develop than people think. They just happen overnight. You flick the light switch, and all of a sudden the economy's down. When the housing market crashed in '08, and then like eventually Lehman Brothers went out, that was like a 8-9 month period.
Okay.
It took a lot longer than people really remember,
Okay.
and that was kind of like the, how it all kicked off. But it takes longer. It's not. You're not going to wake up one day and be like, oh, we're in a recession.
So if we're in the start of a recession, you might not really see
are,
it till
and
next
I'm not
summer.
saying you are or you're not. I'm just
But
saying
if we are.
If you are, it takes a lot longer than most people really realize. It's not a month or two deal. It takes a while, and then all of a sudden then something finally breaks, and then it's game on in a bad way.
Gotcha.
So
What are you hearing about Ferris? I'm sure you've
Ferris
talked
was-
to people.
Ferris, I think, is like a soft sideways, is from what I'm hearing. Potentially down $10 to $20, depending on the grade. But more sideways action on the coastlines than in the Midwest. Anything going east for us is going to be definitely softer. So just because there's a lot of scrap in the Midwest areas from what I hear.
So going towards the ocean might be sideways.
Yeah, going towards the coastline, you got a little bit of a chance. Just because the export market did drop off pretty heavy in the middle of September, but then it did bounce back some. So maybe not as soft as once was going to be anticipated, 2 weeks ago. So it'll be interesting to see how this trade unfolds. The Midwest, you still got mill outages. Some big mills not even buying. So
Are
that's
they
a market
buying
we
because they have too much scrap on the ground? Is that why?
demand, and maybe there's a lot of scrap.
The
there's-
orders are slowing down because of recession
That's
fears?
from what I hear. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll wait and see. I mean, it's nice to see some green in these markets for us. It's nice to see platinum, palladium up. That's going to help your catalytic converter price, which could also help your recycled car price.
Yep.
Copper is back in that 340 range. We'll see if we stay there. We'll see if we get a run back to maybe we go back up to the 360, 370 range. I'm not sure. Simple like supply and demand, like it depends what you read. Like the need for copper is still abundant. Like we still need it
in the long term.
in the long
But
term.
short term is what controls the market.
So the short term, are we not a big need?
I don't know.
I guess.
I wish I knew.
Okay.
I'd make a lot more money buying and selling copper futures than I would selling scrap.
All right. Well, thank you, Brett. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Have a great week.